Oh, no, I don't need you to. Yeah. Are they already lowering? Is this on?
Yeah, we're straight. So you can begin.
To all those who are on the live stream, oh my goodness, that's amazing. Oh wow. Amazing. I'm glad you have that. It's very special. You keep that. We're going to begin the service for Dr. Lya Dym Rosenblum. I'm Rabbi Michael Schwab of North Suburban Synagogue Bethel. This time the casket is going to be lowered, and as it is lowered, I'm going to recite some of the prayers. Michtom leDavid, Shomreni al ki chasiti vach, Amart l'Adonai, Adonai ata tovati ba'alecha, Likdoshim asher ba'aretz hema, Vadirei kol chefzivam, Yirbu atzvotam achar maharu balasich niskehem midam, Uv'al esa et shmotam al svatai. Adonai menach chelki v'chosi ata tomich gorali, Chavalim naflu li b'nayimim af nachalat shofra alai. Avarech et Adonai asher ya'atzani, af leilot yisruni chilyotai. Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid, kirini ba'alemot. Lachen samach libi v'yagel chodi, af b'sari yishkon lavetach. Ki lo ta'azov nafshi lishol, lo titen chasidcha lirot shachatz. Todi'eni orech chaim, sovas machot et panecha, nimot b'minecha netzach. As the staff prepares to lower the vault cover after they get the casket settled, I'm going to do the kriya, the cutting of the ribbon ceremony with the family. It represents that now that Lya is no longer physically in your life, that there's a tear in your life. So what I'm going to ask each of you to do have the ribbon. If you could kindly take the ribbon and tear, and if somebody needs help doing that, then do it. Jeremy, do they have the ribbons?
Yes.
So you would attach it to his right side anywhere, and then help him rip it. You're on your left. Good. You're on your left. He's on the right. So yours over your heart on the left side, and then you're gonna share it, and then we're gonna do the blessing. I'll help you with it. Yeah, you tear the ribbon part. How much do you do? It's symbolic, you know. There's no technical. Would you like to read from the Hebrew? If you'd like to read, or you can repeat after me. That's the last thing, but I want to wait for Debbie to get all settled. There we go. So you can either read it or repeat after me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Dayan Hayavet. Amen. And I say to you, Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, the Lord has taken, the Lord has given, and sadly the Lord has taken, and through it all, Sorry, you're picking up after. As the vault cover is lowered, I'm going to recite from Psalm 121. Shir lamalot, esai na'elarim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitain lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan, shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha yad yaminecha. Yomam HaShemesh liyakek aviyareach balayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzidcha uvoecha me'ata v'yad olam. A song for ascents. I turn my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from God, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. The guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your protection, a guardian at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. God will guard you from all harm and guard your life. God guards your going and your coming, now and forevermore. Al Mikoma Tavo V'Shalom. May Dr. Lya Dym Rosenblum go into God in peace, and let us all say, Amen. You are absolutely welcome to stand, but if anybody would like to have a seat, you certainly may have a seat for the next bunch of minutes. I'm going to recite a couple of psalms in memory of Lya. And first one is Psalm 15, which speaks of a person of great integrity. Psalm 15 speaks of a person of great integrity, and we know that Lya was a person of great integrity. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai mi'agor bo'alech, mishkon bar kodshecha, holech tamim ufo, el tzedek v'dover el memet bilvavo, lo ragal al lishono, lo asal re'ura v'cherpa l'nosal krovo, nivzeh beinav nim'as, v'et yirei Adonai yichabed, Nishbal Ravelo Yamir Kaspol Natan Benashek V'Shochan Anakila Lakach Ose'ela Lo Yimot Le'olam. Do we deserve to enter into God's sanctuary? Can we merit a place in the presence of God? Live with integrity. Do what is right. Speak the truth. Have no slander upon your tongue. Do no evil to others. Do not mistreat your neighbor. Spurn those who are contemptible, but honor those who revere God. Never retract a promise once made, though it may bring you harm. Lend no money at unfair rates, accept no bribe against the innocent. Make these deeds your own, and you shall stand firm forever. With all the wonderful things that Lya did in her life for others, she certainly is described here in the psalm as somebody who never took any bribe against the innocent and always stood firm for justice and for love forever. I'm now going to recite the traditional psalm at the graveside, Psalm 23. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo achsar binoteh sheyar bitzeni, al menuchot yinahaleni, nafshi yeshovev, yancheni v'maglei tzedek leman shemo, gam ki elech begeitz al mavet lo irara ki atay madi, shiftecha mishan techa hema yinachamuni, taroch lefanai shulchan neged sorai, Tishanta v'Hashem roshi kosi ravaya, Achtov v'chesed yerdafuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti b'veit Adonai leorech yamim. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That is our belief, that is our prayer, that the soul of Lya Rosenblum dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In Job it says, there is no replacing a person of wisdom. There are mines for silver and places where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth and copper is smelted from the rock. But where can wisdom be found? And where is the source of understanding? There is no replacing a person of wisdom. Dr. Lya Dym Rosenblum was a person of wisdom. She's a person of great intelligence, great academic acumen, and at this point we feel her loss. There is no replacing a person of wisdom. The great philosopher Ben Sira wrote, "We're all destined to die. We share it with all who ever lived and whoever will be. Cry for the dead, hide not your grief, do not restrain your mourning, but remember that continuing sorrow is worse than death. When the dead are at rest, let their memory be a source of peace, and be consoled when the soul departs, for death is better than a life of pain or sickness. Let us not seek to understand what is too difficult, nor search for what is hidden, nor be preoccupied with what is beyond, for we've been shown more than we can ever comprehend. The good things in life last for a short time, but a good reputation and the love of a family endures forever, l'dor vador, from one generation to the next." I was able to speak with Jordan, and I got some words that were sent from Debbie and the rest of the family to speak a little bit about Lya's life. And I want to share that our great sage, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, once asked his disciples, "Look about you, which is the way in life in which one should cleave?" Eliezer said, "A generous eye," Yehoshua, "a good colleague," Yossi, "a good neighbor," Shimon, "foresight," and Rabbi Elazar said, "You should lead your life with a generous heart." The great Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai replied, "I prefer the answer of Elazar, because his answer, a generous heart, includes all of yours." This insightful response teaches us that one who possesses a generous heart sees the world generously, treats others with compassion, understands the needs of those around her, and gives with all of her heart, with all of her ability. Today we come to honor the memory of Dr. Lya Dym Rosenblum, who embodied this teaching and indeed was a woman who possessed a generous heart. She was a person who gave of herself to others, who put the needs of her loved ones and community members ahead of her own. She loved her family fiercely. She was beautiful, kind, intelligent, and a wonderful woman. And now that she is no longer physically with us, the world is indeed a poorer place because of it. Thus it is my very sad honor to express my condolences and those of North Suburban Synagogue to her family, to her loving husband, to Lou, her cherished children, Daniel and Mara, Debbie and Jordan and Susan, and to her adored grandchildren, Jonah, Sydney, Luke, and Madeline, as well as all of her nieces and nephews and all the other family and friends who mourn her passing. My prayers is that the words we share and the prayers we recite provide you with some measure of comfort at a difficult time. As you all know, and what the family shared with me, Lya was born in Dresden, Germany, and came to the United States with her parents and sister in 1938, narrowly escaping the Holocaust. Yet Jordan shared with me many of her extended family were not so fortunate, and the impact of the Holocaust on her was understandably very strong throughout her life. In fact, she was deeply involved with the interviewing of survivors for the Holocaust Memorial Video Project, honoring them and memorializing those who were killed. She married Lou when she was in her early 20s, and they enjoyed 71 years, if I got that right, 71 years of marriage, partnership, and love. They created a wonderful family that has now extended to grandchildren, whom she loved with all of her heart. She was a passionately devoted wife and mother, and absolutely adored her grandchildren. I was told that at an older age she was willing to get on the floor with them and play. She was also an incredible daughter, caring for her mother, especially after her father's death in 1968. And she was totally devoted to her sister Ruth, who only died a few years ago. She was also very dedicated to Jewish and civic causes alike. She and Lou were charter members at Bethel and have remained congregants ever since, raising their kids at our synagogue. Bethel is incredibly appreciative of their dedication and their vision. Yet Lya's passion for organizations with missions she cared about was not at all limited to the synagogue. While raising 3 children, Lya served as president of the League of Women's Voters, an associate director of the United Nations Association of Chicago, and served on the Winnetka Village Caucus. As her children shared with me, she even resumed her graduate studies after a number of years and children, building on her degrees from the University of Chicago, receiving her PhD in political science and education from Northwestern University. She then entered the academic world as an academic dean of Columbia College Chicago. She served as vice president of academic affairs, and after establishing a graduate school, assumed the title of vice president and dean of that graduate school. Lya rightly took great pride in her work during her almost 30-year career at Columbia. When she got to the college, there were 2,000 students. When she left, enrollment had reached 10,000. Lya's fundraising efforts, academic and administrative leadership, and her work with faculty, developing new academic policies and introducing new programs and academic standards, had a lasting impact, not only on the college, but on her life as well. During these years, while she was doing all of those other things, she also served as president of the American Jewish Congress Midwest Region, the chair of the Academic Seminar on Zionist Thought, which allowed her to attend the World Zionist Congress in Jerusalem in 1987. Lya and Lou were active and were longtime members of the board of the Jewish Council on Urban Affairs, and as a lifelong educator, Lya brought strong Jewish values and education and a commitment to social justice to her beloved role at JCUA. In addition to serving on the JCUA board, she also served on the boards of the ACLU, Perspectives Charter School, and Urban Gateways. I think it should be clear to everyone that Lya was an incredibly respected, professional, academic, activist, and leader. She always wanted to make a difference in the world, and she absolutely did. We honor her for all of her contributions to the Jewish community and to the broader society. So whether you remember Lya for the small things and the personal cherished memories that I know you will always have, or for the larger things or the broader things, her fierce love of family, her dedication to serving others, and her great drive and intelligence, let's always remember her with deep love and respect. May her memory be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. And let us all say, Amen. This time, I'm going to recite the memorial prayer. Lou, can I ask you one question? Do you happen to know Lya's father's Hebrew name? His English name was Herman, right? Okay, so I'll just use Herman. Again. Sorry. Thanks, John. Elohai slichot chanun v'rachum, erech apayim v'rav chesed, hamtzei chapra pesha v'akravat yesha, u'menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina, b'malot kidoshim u'torim, kizor rakia mazirim et nishmat, Lya bat Herman shalcha liolama, ana bal rachamim, zochra la letova kol zechuyotev etzikotev b'ratzot ha'chaim, ובטח לה שערי צדק ואורה שערי חמה וחנינה בסתר כנפיך סתירה לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה אדוני ונחלתה ותנוח בשלום משכבה ונאמר Amen. Exalted and compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Dr. Lya Dym Rosenblum, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace, May her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. May she always rest in peace. And let us say amen. Due to the special circumstances of COVID, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna, I think we need one extra person from the Zoom to count for our kind of virtual minion here in order to say the Mourner's Kaddish. In the little booklets, if you don't know the Kaddish by heart, you have the Mourner's Kaddish available to you. If the family would like to recite it along with me, great. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shmei Rabbah be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'halal shmei d'kudusha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. V'yashov ha'far al-aretz k'shaya v'aruach tashuv el Elohim asher netana. The dust returns to the earth as it was, but the spirit returns to God who gave it. May Lya Dym Rosenblum's soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal. Send comfort, God, to those who mourn. Grant strength to those whose burden is sorrow. And let us say amen. This time I'm going to turn things over to Jeremy, who's going to tell us how we can safely participate in the burial.
So for those of you who'd like to participate, you can come forward. They have the little cups. You can scoop a little earth. Some people have the tradition of using 3 measures or 3 scoops of earth and placing that into the grave, and then you can throw the cup away into the little basket there. We would ask that everyone please just do it one at a time, please.
Obviously, if Blue wants to, you can help him.
If you touch this, then I'll put it in for you. Thank you. Okay? Yes.
Participating in the burial is considered an act of loving kindness, and it's those who loved her who should be here and help to put her to her rest. Our final ritual at the cemetery is to say to the family our wish that they find some comfort in a difficult time. The Hebrew phrase is Hamakom Yenachem Etchem B'Toch Sha'ar Avlei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you amongst all the other mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. And as you make your way into your mourning period, remember that you have the love of family and your friends, and always the love of God to support you. Amen.
friends, this concludes the services here at the cemetery. In just a few moments, the cemetery staff will use the equipment and the tractor to fill the grave. If you wish to stay, you certainly may do so, but if not, you may return to your cars. Thank you.
Oh, really? Still remember? Leave my spirit alone, yeah. Was it not by might, but not by power, by spirit alone, shall we all live in peace? Is that the song? Yeah, it's a nice song. I don't do it justice. I can carry a tune. It's about as far as I would say my voice goes. So, yeah. I'm so sorry. You look freezing. Okay. Yeah. If I can do anything.